To allow
Mr Chairman.
I call the Honourable Minister David Carter.
Mr Chairman, I want to thank that member for his contribution on the MAF vote. Can I first of all say that yes, as of yesterday, MAF was finished with. We named a new organisation, Ministry for Primary Industries, and I want people in the House to take particular note of the word for primary industries. There was a branding issue once the government had decided to bring 3 government departments into one. MAF already operated under a number of brands. We have taken the opportunity with the integration of the Ministry of Fisheries, with the integration of the New Zealand Food Safety Authority, with the integration of MAF, Minister of Agriculture and Forestry, to come up with a new name that is all-embracing, the Ministry for Primary Industries. And I want that new ministry to be absolutely focused on the New Zealand economy, on the fact that the very base of this New Zealand economy is the agricultural and primary sectors of New Zealand. And that industry, that organisation now has to be very focused on working with all aspects of the primary industries to make sure that we deliver the greatest potential to the New Zealand economy. I do note the member's comments around organics and the fact that the government does not now put a considerable amount of money into the organics industry, but the government has done so. And there are a lot of other aspects and farming systems here in New Zealand that if they want to promote themselves, they're expected to do so. And at some stage, it is necessary for this government to cut the umbilical cord and say to the organics industry, if you are so successful, if you are so successfully meeting the demands of New Zealand consumers and the demands of international consumers, then you should be able to command a premium for your product, and in commanding that premium for the product, it's time you put some money back into your industry to allow it to expand and grow. And Mr Stephen Browning shakes his head because he knows that despite considerable money going into organics, the industry is not gaining significant premiums for its product, either in New Zealand or elsewhere. And I'll give you one example that should bring that home to Mr Stephen Browning, even though he is a Green Member of Parliament. Fonterra used to run an organics operation. The prior President of Federated Farmers, Tom Lemby, ran an organic dairy farm in South Canterbury. And Fonterra said to him and to other organic suppliers here in New Zealand, we are not getting a significant premium for our product. It is uneconomic for us to continue to collect that milk, and they abandoned the program. Mr Stephen Browning makes some very interesting comments around biosecurity. And I say to every audience I get the chance to speak to, that is the greatest risk to the New Zealand economy. And it is absolutely paramount that the Ministry for Primary Industries and government hopefully works with opposition parties to deliver the most effective biosecurity systems we can at the border. And yes, we did reduce some staffing when trade dropped off due to the global financial crisis. But I say to Mr Stephen Browning, those services at the border are cost recovered. And it would be inappropriate to continue to charge other importers of goods excessive charges simply from a means of maintaining staff at the border. The other thing I say to Mr Stephen Browning is we must continually look at the way we do manage our borders. Systems change, threats change, technology changes. And why everybody I speak to around biosecurity concentrates on the system they have at the airports, because that is the system most people interact with, the greatest risk is actually at our seaports. And we need to continue to be vigilant there, because we will have incursions occurring. Sadly, that is a fact. In fact, we've had particular insects that have flown over from Australia and landed in New Zealand, and no amount of X-ray technology at the border will stop it, Mr Browning. But what we do need is, when we get an incursion, a means by which we can ascertain how critical it is to any industry. And that's the very reason we're engaged so significantly with industries around the government industry agreements. And then if it is an economic pest that we have the ability to control, we must act, and act quickly. And the biggest lesson I've had in that is regards to the PSA incursion in the Bay of Plenty, where the government has worked very, very well with the industry, realising we couldn't eliminate it once he arrived, but working with the industry to find means by which that industry can move forward with varieties that are resistant or tolerant of the disease. And I want to take this opportunity in my closing comments to congratulate the kiwi fruit industry for the way it has come through what was very, very dark days for it, but is now a better industry.
The question is that the report of the Primary Production Committee on the 2011 financial review of the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry be noted. Those of that opinion will please say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Honourable members, I now understand that the next financial review members wish to debate is the financial review